Today on The Nation Speaks, it's game on for school choice in Arizona. Now every parent in the state has the option: stay in public school or spend those education tax dollars another way. It's a winning Republican issue, says Deangelis, National Director of Research for the American Federation for Children. So how does the Arizona model work? That's what we learned from Jenny Clark, a mother of 5 and founder of the nonprofit Love Your School. Next, the infant formula shortage. Guess what? It's not over yet. In America Q&A, we ask if you're aware of the current baby formula supply situation. Finally, in our second America Q&A, do you think Jeffrey Epstein's client list should be made public? Hello and welcome to The Nation Speaks. I'm your host, Cindy Drucker. Kids are already back in school in Arizona, but it feels a little bit different this year. Arizona now offers school choice to every student in the state, 1.1 million K-12 kids. That means parents can take their kids out of public school and use a $7,000 Empowerment Scholarship Account, or ESA, in any way they want on their child's education. That includes private school tuition, online classes, education therapies, tutoring, pod school teachers, or buying computers. That $7,000 represents 90% of what the state would have spent on that child in the public school system. Some people say Arizona is now the gold standard for school choice, a movement that is growing in momentum across the country, particularly since the pandemic, when suddenly every parent was forced to think about educational choices. I sat down earlier with 2 guests who know everything about these changes. Joining us now is a man who has spent years crusading hard for this change, Deangelis, the National Director of Research for the American Federation of Children and the Executive Director at the Educational Freedom Institute, and Jenny Clark, a mother of 5 school-age kids and founder of the Arizona nonprofit Love Your School that helps parents really navigate the wide open waters of school choice. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I really want to understand the nitty-gritty of how all of this works. Corey, I'll start with you. School choice seems to be gaining a lot of steam right now. It's also not a new idea. I think in 1955, Milton Friedman already wrote about having tax dollars follow students versus the schools. So it's not a new idea, but why is it catching on so much right now?
I mean, look, you're right. The wind is at our backs. 19 states expanded or enacted programs to fund students as opposed to systems in 2021, what we're calling the year of school choice. And just last month, Arizona Governor Doug Ducey just one-upped them all by passing the most expansive school choice program in the nation. It's the gold standard of educational freedom, and it's the best way to truly secure parental rights in education, to allow families to choose the education providers that best align with their values and best meet their needs. But look, over the past couple of years, the teachers unions have overplayed their hand. At this point, they're actively destroying their own empire, and it's absolutely glorious because it means that we're freeing families from the clutches of the teachers unions once and for all.
Jenny, one of the things that really caught my attention on your website is your explanation for the name of your organization. Every family should be able to answer the question, do you love your school, with a resounding yes. So is answering that with a no the main reason why most parents come to you for help?
Absolutely correct. We believe that every Arizona family and every family across the United States deserves access to the education environment that works for them. So the families that are coming to us are those families that are saying no, and maybe they don't even know what it is. Maybe they have a special need or their child is just struggling or behind. They come to us looking for support, looking for answers, and we help them navigate the educational choice system so that they can put their child in the environment that works for them. And that includes Arizona's Empowerment Scholarship Account program.
How do you help them imagine what their child's education could look like? Be a little bit concrete for us.
Well, one of the first things that we do is ask the parents just to tell us about their kids, tell us what they're good at, what they love, what they enjoy doing, and also share with us, what they're struggling with or what they're unhappy about with their child's current education environment. And from there, we do these one-on-one consult services for families. We call it our Parent Concierge service. We really help them navigate and learn more about their child and what their options are, as far as maybe they need a special education evaluation. Maybe they're not aware of other resources or curriculum that could work for their child. And then we also help expose them to different school options, including in Arizona, a lot of new micro school options that might be a better fit for their child.
Explain what a micro school is.
So in Arizona, we have a lot of new interest in micro schools, and those are just small groups, small classrooms of students coming together, usually with one teacher and maybe 8 to 10 students, and learning in a really inclusive environment in person. That tends to be a better fit for a lot of these school children. And it could be across different grades too. That's a really neat thing about micro schools. We led one in our home for over 3 years, and we had kindergartners all the way up to 6th graders in our little micro school. We call it a cottage school. Kids all learning together and growing together, and those are growing a lot in Arizona as well.
So like the one-room schoolhouse, back to the back to the start. So Corey, I know from recent polling that there's, as we were saying earlier, growing interest in school choice, and at the family level, it doesn't seem to be along party lines. However, at the legislative level, it very much seems to be a partisan issue. In fact, in Arizona, it was 100% vote along party lines. They just got it across the finish line with a one-vote majority in both houses in Arizona. So why is it that if more and more parents, regardless of party affiliation, are interested in school choice, that isn't filtering up to the political level?
Because it's not about logic, it's about power dynamics. And if you look at the American Federation of Teachers campaign contributions in 2022, for example, so far, this union has had 99.997% of their campaign contributions going to Democrats as opposed to Republicans so far in 2022, if you look at the Open Secrets website. But if you ask parents, you're absolutely right. The latest Real Clear Opinion Research polling, for example, nationwide in 2022 found that 72% of Americans support the concept of school choice, and that included supermajority support among Republicans, Democrats, and independents. So it's all about political power dynamics, and the teachers unions do whatever they can to protect their status quo, to fight to cement their monopoly, and to trap low-income kids in particular in failing government schools. But the reality is that support for school choice is surging, and politicians are seeing that it could be a form of political suicide to come out against parental rights in education, especially after the past couple of years. I mean, just look at what happened to Terry McAuliffe in Virginia.
Stop the bill that I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
That was an end to his political career because Glenn Youngkin was smart. The Republican leaned into parental rights as a political winner. And in Arizona, look, you're right as well. They had 1-seat majorities in the House and the Senate, and they were able to get it done to free every single family from the clutches of the teachers unions once and for all. And what that means going forward, I'm pretty optimistic because there's a lot of states that don't have as much school choice that have even stronger majorities. Think about Texas and Oklahoma and Iowa. They should be able to get this done next session and be able to allow families to choose the schools that work best for their kids. And families are figuring out all across the country that the money doesn't belong to the schools, whether that's a public or a private school. Education funding is meant for educating children, not for propping up and protecting a particular institution. And the kids don't belong to the government either.